Hello everybody, my name is GhostBit, and today I'm going to be going over how I enter in back-to-back game jams. In the last video I explained why I quit my game Froggo's Quest. Today I will go over why I decided to use a game jam to help me put out my dream game. The first game jam that I saw that was available was the Godot Wild Jam 33. Now I've entered the Godot Wild Jam and it's a pretty good jam actually. It happens monthly and they have a theme and 3 wild cards. These are like added restrictions to the topic that they give out and they're optional of course, but I think it's a pretty fun way to do a game jam. And the theme for the Godot Wild Jam 33 was You Are Not the Hero. Now this was a very good topic and I had thousands of ideas, but the first topic that actually came to mind was actually of a Wraith. Now over on Twitter I'm very active, and recently a couple of days before this jam came out, I had drawn a little Wraith called Sally and I had fallen in love with the character design that I had made, and she was pretty popular actually. A lot of folks on Twitter loved her and the simple design that I made, so I decided to make a game out of her because I felt like she's a Wraith and that fits perfectly to the theme. So I was leaning more towards the villainous side of things. Now as for my dream game, like I said in the previous video, I have up to 5 dream games I wish to make, and the one that I said was very doable was a Zelda-like top-down adventure, but with a very interesting mechanic that either hasn't been shown that often or something that would grab the player's attention. Now unfortunately for me, I forgot to record my whole process for both jams. The only thing I have in terms of footage, it was me drawing some character designs in the beginning for the first jam, and the same thing for the other jam as well. Completely forgot to record my process here because I think you'll see why I forgot to record. The only thing I could show you is the footage that I have for the first jam, and of course the complete footage for the second jam, so there will be something to view here other than just art. Now let's get to it. So the first thing I did was get top-down movement adirectional. This was pretty easy because I've practiced before, so I was able to get it down in the right feel and speed of the character. Afterwards I went ahead and tackled the biggest task I had for this jam, and that was figuring out the main mechanic of the game, something that would grab people's attention. Seeing as how the theme was You Are Not the Hero and I was leaning more towards the villain side, I went with you are a Wraith who has to hypnotize or capture humans, or basically turn them into her own puppets. I thought this was a very interesting idea for a game mechanic, so off I went to go and see if I can pull this off. Now I needed some sort of enemy within the game, so I came up with a Guardian. A Guardian is basically Angel's like machine protector for humans, and basically the Wraith's job was to get rid of these Guardian Angels so that way the Wraith could go ahead and achieve her task. I even had a boss, and I had a big cut scene planned in the beginning of the game explaining the whole story and why this little Wraith had to go and do this. I was going to add a lot of humor to it as well. I was actually pretty happy with how I designed the boss. He came out pretty good. So as you can see, I managed to get the mechanic down. This actually took me a long time. Majority of the jam was spent with this mechanic. It was a lot of trial and error, and I ditched everything and forgot everything, like in terms of recording, because I wasn't getting this mechanic to work. Basically what you were going to do is get near an NPC, and then as you would touch them, they would turn into like this weird robotic kitten. Don't ask me why. That's what I went with. And they would be your minions, and then you can send them to attack the Guardians. Now, saying that is easy, but actually doing that was a bit of a challenge to me. So by the time I figured out a way to make this mechanic work, I realized I only had like a day left or 2 days left, and I had nothing else in terms of the game. So as time was ticking, I was scrambling like a madman, trying to piece together everything. And when I finally submitted my project, I had 5 minutes left to spare. Now the sad part is I never play tested my game or even viewed the file that I exported. So I just assumed everything would be fine. And when I went back to at least try to squeeze in a playtest myself, I realized I had a broken file that I just submit. I didn't properly export my game, and when I tried to scramble to piece together the right file, I ran out of time and the jam closed. I had no way of editing my project at all. So unfortunately, I deleted my project out of shame, and I just took the loss on there. Now, unfortunately, I'm splitting this video in half because I realized if I would have put it all together, this would have been like a 15-minute video of a vlog. And I figured it would be way more easier if I just split it in half and just have it in 2 separate videos versus 1. So in the next part, I will go over how I picked myself back up and entered another jam an hour later after I failed. And joining the Go Godot jam was probably the best decision of my life. You will get to see how it all ends in the next video. Thank you for watching. This is GhostBit, and I will see you on the next journey.